Hello and welcome to Your Stocks. I'm Mangla Malu. With me is Ekta Batra. But as we speak, it doesn't look like a very good afternoon for the markets. All intraday recoveries are being sold into, and as we speak, the Nifty is down nearly 150 points at the low point of the day. And it is the heavyweights which are pulling the Nifty down. And the latest addition to that is Infosys. That one's moved to the low point of the day. Apart from that, the mid caps out there, 9 stocks in the red for 1 in the green. Throughout the day, the broader markets have been under severe pressure. The Nifty Bank and the Sensex, both of them down 300 and 427 points respectively. With me is Ekta, of course. Ekta, good afternoon.
Hi, absolutely, Manglam. Well, turning out to be quite a tumultuous session for us. So the mid-cap index also just about testing 18,000 as we speak. And the advanced decline ratio, well, you know, it's been weak throughout the trading session. It saw a marginal sort of improvement, but now back at the low point of the day of close to around 1:9 in terms of an advanced decline ratio. Top Nifty losers seems to be completely sector agnostic. So Aurobindo Pharma down 3.7, Tata Steel down 3.7, ACC down 3.6, and Adani Ports down 3.5%, just giving you a sense in terms of the different sector stocks which are seeing losses at this point in time. But let's get talking about the top stories that we're tracking. Markets extend declines to trade at the day's low. Sensex down over 400 points, the Nifty almost 150 points lower. The mid-cap index sheds over 2% today.
The power stocks enthused on hopes of likely stimulus coming in. Sources tell CNBC TV18 that the government is expected to pump in 17,000 crore rupees via the Power for All Saubhagya scheme.
Housing finance companies like GRU and Repco lose despite extension of the interest subsidy on home loans under the Affordable Housing Subvention Scheme till March 2019.
Shoppers Stop surges after Amazon picks up 5% stake in the company. Both companies sign an agreement to open Amazon Experience Centers across Shoppers Stop's network of 80 stores.
Capacity Infra off the morning highs after listing at a whopping 50% premium to its issue price. The management reiterates that the company remains cash flow positive on the operational front. Okay, well, the rupee too has extended its decline, so it's depreciated by around 0.3%. Currently, just about sitting at that 65 mark, bang at that 65 mark. We did close, I think, at around 64.7 odd on Friday's trading session. So you can see that bit of decline which is coming in. Maybe it is the depreciation of the rupee which seems to be weighing on the markets as well. In fact, the Nifty now at 98.20. as we speak. So it's only just about getting worse, and the mid-cap index is probably just about going to break 18,000 in the next couple of minutes, just 5 points higher above 18,000 at this point in time. But we do have our guests joining in this afternoon. Gaurang Shah joining in on the fundamentals and Prakash Kaba to answer all of your technical queries. Afternoon, gentlemen. Let's get going because I'm sure a lot of market participants have a lot of worries in this market and what we've seen since Friday. So the first caller that we have is Aditya Singh, who calls us from Mumbai with a query. Aditya has a query, I think, on Aditya Birla Capital. Hi, Aditya.
Hi, Ekta.
Hi.
Basically, I just wanted to know, I have, bought close to 400 shares of Aditya Birla Capital at an average of around 190 per share. Okay, I want to add, 4,000 to 5,000 more shares, but, I am really not able to, understand this share is highly volatile. It is sometimes it is going up, it is touching 210, sometimes it is going to 183. So I would appreciate if you could let me know the bottom of this share, that to what extent it can go down. What is the probability of it going down to 150 or 160? Is there any probability? So I would appreciate some strong answer, fundamentals and everything I know about it. Aditya Birla Capital pedigree I know and everything I know. I just tell me the what bottom it could go, or this is the right time I can buy this share.
Okay, and you're okay with holding it for how long?
See, I'm willing to hold it for 5 to 6 years. I have no issues, but I really want to know the bottom of this share. Is there any possibility of this share going down to 150, 160? This is my one question.
Okay. Aditya, we will get that answered to the best of our ability, so just hold on. Gaurang, I think Aditya's made his query quite, clear in terms of what he wants to know about Aditya Birla Capital. He can hold it for 5 to 6 years. He wants to know the lowest price it can go and whether he should even accumulate. He's ready to even buy up to 4,000 to 5,000 shares in that.
So, Ekta, I was given to understand that he has not bought it, he wanted to buy it, and hence my advice was that instead of, if you want to make a fresh buying and all in taking advantage of this correction, Ekta, I had advised that you could possibly look at L&T Finance and Holding, but since he's bought it and this was a business which was demerged from Grasim and listed as a separate entity, only time will tell in terms of earnings as to how it will be delivered on a standalone basis, because up till now we had a consolidated number coming through in form of grassing numbers. So I hope the pedigree is good, I mean undoubtedly, but since we do not have a specific coverage on AB Capital, I wouldn't be able to comment on that, point number one. Point number two, my other choice if you want to make a fresh investment is L&T Finance and Holding.
All right, Gaurang, thanks a lot for that. But his question is this the bottom? So let's go to the technical expert. Prakash, the bottom on AB Capital.
He's waiting to look at the bottom, buy it, and after he buys it, it should go up. That's never the case.
Okay.
Forget about the bottom. There are two places to buy. A is when it stops coming down. You feel there's not much downside. That's the place to buy A. Or B, when it confirms that it's going up. Since you already bought it, I would say just hang on to it. Don't sell it. Hold on. But where do you buy a fresh? He wants to add it. The best place to add is around about 210, because then it confirms I'm going up. That's the place to buy.
Okay.
I would do that.
Okay, fair enough. So that's the view coming in on Aditya Birla Capital. We need to take a break now. So there's been a little bit of a recovery from the lows for the market, but let's keep watching that and see where it manages to settle.
Stocks from the Nifty pack are at the low point of the day. Bharti Airtel is one should come up for you. Dow Futures, incidentally, is also at the low point of the day, though absolutely flat out there with a 14-point cut. But back home, Wipro, that stock too is at the low point of the day. Incidentally, remember the rupee is at the low point of the day too. But keep an eye out on a couple of these IT stocks, which should perhaps see some benefit of a lower rupee or a weaker rupee. But then again, we have Wipro, which is at the low point of the day. It is the expiry week. A lot of action taking place at a lot of these options. The 10,000 call has been made a heavy meal of. 35 lakh shares written on the 10,000 call. The premium down almost 80%. But some aggressive bears also writing the 9,900 call now. Nearly 35 lakh shares added there too. And the premium out there down 70%. That's as far as the markets are concerned. Do watch out for this index during the expiry week especially. But let's go across to our next caller. He is Praveen Kumar, calls us from Delhi with a query. Praveen ji, आपका सवाल?
सर मेरे पास 85 शेयर इंडसइंड बैंक के 1200 रेट पे 2 साल से होल्ड कर रहा हूँ. आगे पूछना चाहता हूँ क्या करना चाहिए, होल्ड कर सकते हैं?
काफी प्रॉफिट्स पे बैठे हैं आप कितने समय के लिए होल्ड कर सकते हैं?
मैं 2 साल के लिए होल्ड कर सकता हूँ.
और होल्ड कर सकते हैं. All right, so first we'll go across to Prakash. Prakash, he's been holding for the last 2 years, made a decent amount of money, 40,000 rupees on his exposure. Can hold for another couple of years. What would you suggest?
I've been holding this stock since IPO and intend to hold it for lifetime. It's given fantastic returns. It's a beautiful stock to hold and have a decent quantity.
So at this level, do you think he should double his exposure or add some more?
He can continue adding on every dips. It's a stock that needs to be held on in the portfolio.
Okay, Gaurang, would you share that view?
Well, I would definitely concur with what Prakash has just mentioned, and in fact, for the last 17 or 18 odd quarters, Ekta, this is one mid-cap size bank along with Yes Bank and Kotak Bank who have delivered fantastic set of numbers, and they have actually raised the bar for the performance going forward for themselves. And given the fact that you have policies which are going to be positive in terms of recovery process for the banks, both private as well as public, our view is that there is only going to be better and better performance. So take advantage of the correction today and last week that you've seen, and if you have investable amount, you can continue to hold what you have and even add or make fresh investments.
All right, Praveen, thanks a lot for, Gaurang, thanks a lot for that. Praveen, unequivocal buy coming in from both our technical as well as fundamental experts. But let's move on to another one. We have Kinnari K writing us.
Take advantage of the correction today and last week that you've seen. And if you have investable amount, you can continue to hold what you have and even add or make fresh investments.
All right, Praveen, thanks a lot for, Gaurang, thanks a lot for that. Praveen, unequivocal buy coming in from both our technical as well as fundamental experts. But let's move on to another one. We have Kinnari K writing to us from Gujarat, holds 1,000 shares of IDFC at 55 for the last 2 months. She's a long-term investor, wants to know whether to hold or sell. Gaurang, IDFC, what would one do?
So Mangalam, it has been a poor performance, both in terms of creating wealth from a long-term point of view as well as on the earnings front, there has been a disappointment. So at current levels, you got in at maybe 55, you are making some 4.5 odd rupees. Take that money off the table if you want to. And our preference would be in the banking private federal bank. Again, like I mentioned earlier, Mangalam, since we've seen correction today and last week, and maybe we might see a little bit of more follow-up correction, I think these are the times that one should actually go and actively invest in market wherein good stocks on earning visibility are available on some discount, whatever small be it. So if you want, we would prefer Federal Bank from a long-term point of view. Again, we have a coverage. Our target, I think, is somewhere close to about 135, 145 odd of Federal Bank.
Okay, all right, that's the view coming in on IDFC. Just want to point out one stock. Tata Power should come up for you because that one is showing a lot of resilience in what is a weak market. It's in fact above its 50, 100 as well as its 200-day moving average. So do watch out for that. Though the 100 and 200-day moving average is not too far apart, it just gives you a sense in the type of resilience that we're at least seeing for a couple of these stocks. Talking in a couple of other queries now, we have Samir Subhash Nanoti who calls us from Akola with a query as investments in Infosys. Hi, Samir.
Hello, madam.
Hi.
Madam, I have 100 shares of Infosys. Actually, I just want to correct my previous rate. I purchased that at the rate of 940 rather than 900.
Okay.
So what should I do now?
Okay. How long are you okay with holding it for, Samir?
It doesn't matter, madam. I may wait up to 1 year, 2 years, doesn't matter.
Okay.
Actually, I just want a confirmation whether it is good to hold or not.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Well, Prakash, what would you do? It's still a blue chip. It's seeing a rough ride currently for Infosys. And Samir's bought it at 940. So he's sitting on a bit of a loss right now. But do you think that he can at least get back to his buy price soon enough, maybe in the next 1 to 2 years, and then eventually probably make some profits?
If it takes a year or two, certainly he can continue holding it. But I would ideally buy it around 850 zones or maybe around 800 zones. That's a good place to buy. But that's a strong support zones. It can bounce from there.
So you would recommend averaging?
I would recommend around those levels. Around 850 or 800 zones, that's a good place to buy, add, average, whatever you want to do. Then what you add, you exit around 950.
All right, let's also get in some fundamental perspective on Infosys. Gaurang, as Ekta pointed out rightly so, still a blue chip, under the weather a bit. He's bought it at 940. What would you recommend?
Well, Mangalam, under the weather, yes, but there has been too many salvos that were fired by the founder members and the then board. I hope now things are, not as ugly as used to be, and possibly Mr. Nandan Nilekani would bring in the lost glory and confidence that Infosys had suffered. On earnings, yes, we are also positive, but there is also another trigger. He's got 100 shares at 940. He can participate in the buyback, if I'm not mistaken, at 1150, and possibly whatever you remain, you can continue to hold on. And that's exactly, Mangalam, what we have advised our clients who are falling in that retail category.
Okay, all right. So that's the view coming in on Infosys. We'll take a break now with the news that the Nifty has in fact recovered. So we're back at around 9840 as we speak. And for the mid-cap index also 18,083.
Mild bit of recovery seen for the Nifty. Ekta was telling us that the Nifty is back at that 9840 mark. But a couple of stocks which are trying to attempt a wee bit of recovery. We have BPCL. That one should come up for you at the low point, rather at the high point of the day. just about breaking into the green as we speak. We also have IOC giving it a bit of company and Coal India at the high point of the day. From the broader markets, we have Dabur, which has moved to the high point of the day. FMCG has been holding up in today's trading session, so Dabur should come up for you. That one's extended its gains and currently trading at the high point of the day. So let's get in another viewer query. We have Sudha M, who writes to us from Hyderabad. She holds 10,000 shares of JP Associates at 26.3 for the last 1.5 months. A short-term investor losing 80,000 rupees wants to know whether to hold or sell. Prakash, what would you say?
I would exit. If in loss, if you're wrong, you're out.
Okay, that was quick. If in loss, if you're wrong, out. Fundamentally, Gaurang?
Well, Mangalam, this is a big mistake that a lot of retail investors do, because they jump onto the bandwagon knowing the fact that it is suicidal. And you know the history of this particular stock and group. From 200 plus levels on JP Associate, if I'm not mistaken, you've seen a level of a single digit 7 rupees, and from 7 to 30 odd. And then you end up buying it at 26. And you have bought it from a short term, you don't have a risk appetite. It's prudent to be a little bit disciplined, know what, you should know what you're doing before you get committed to the stock market. At current levels or these levels, again, no specific coverage, but history is there, it's highly avoidable. If you want to make a switch from a long-term point of view, PNC and Infra is the stock that I would recommend, and possibly she makes a switch and has a long-term time horizon, she could cut down on the losses as well.
Okay, all right, Gaurang as well as Prakash, we're going to wrap it up on that note. Thanks very much for joining in and taking us through all of the queries. Well, for the Nifty 9848 is where we're at, and that's all the time that we have. Thanks for watching. Closing bell up next.